left where? On separable faces. Okay, here. Okay, let's begin.
Hi, it's Emily. Are you ready for some grammar? Well, I won't let you down. I've picked out separable phrasal verbs to study. They're important, and we use them all the time. Let someone down and pick something out are separable phrasal verbs. Let's learn more, okay?
Okay, let's please read here.
Mhm. Phrasal verbs are verbs that have two parts, a verb plus a particle. Sit out is a phrasal verb. Sit is the verb, out is a particle. The particle looks just like a preposition, but it is actually one part of this two-part verb. The particle often changes the meaning of the verb. The coach says, "You mean you didn't take a bribe to sit out the game?" In the example, sit out means not play. As you can see, the verb sit plus the particle out means something completely different from the verb sit it by itself.
Okay, yes. So basically, here the meaning of sit out would be that, like, like wait to finish without taking any action. So that's the meaning of sit out, like to give up the game. Okay, so that's the phrasal verb. There are many phrasal verbs, but this one is a phrasal verb that has two parts. Of course, it has a verb plus a particle. Sit would be the verb and out would be the particle. And it has completely a different meaning of sit. I don't know if it's okay or if you have any other question here.
So basically, is to give up anything. Any action.
Uh,
Sit out.
Wait to finish or wait without taking any action. So that would be like a dance or a game or something like
Mhm.
that.
Okay.
Like refrain from participating in something.
Mhm.
Uh, that would be like the meaning. What else? Like I'm not sure. This is something that it's not used very often. To be honest with you, it's more used in games, like keep up the game. So I don't know. Uh, on, like yes. I don't know if what other meaning are you trying to say here?
I mean, for example, I can say um sit out about the card game, for example, or not.
About a cards game? Yes, that would be fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Understood, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to number two and three.
Some phrasal verbs are separable. This means that the noun object can come either after the two parts of the verb. The coach says, "Why don't you clear up this whole thing?" Or the noun object can come between the two parts of the verb. Why don't you clear this whole thing up? I think. Okay, and number three, when the object of a phrasal verb is a pronoun, a word like him, her, or it must go between the verb and the particle. Talia says, "Why didn't you play in the first round qualifying game?" And then Nick says, "I sat out the game because I had a sprained ankle." We do not say, "I sat out it." Mm.
Okay, so here
So,
like some phrasal verbs are separable. Like that means that you can separate these. Like clear up. Uh, like the other meaning. So show you some more here. Like this one. Like this, we need to figure out how to, let's say, destroy. Okay, so here, like, figure out. Figure out means like to interpret or understand. We need to figure out how to destroy them. So this is a separable that is together. And also we need to figure that out. That's something that you put the verb, you put the noun object, uh, between the two parts of the verb. Or we need to figure this whole thing out. Okay, so that means like we need to understand, we need to decipher this whole thing out. So it's the same. I don't know if it's clear everything
Mm,
on
but there
number
are
2.
only some phrasal verbs, not. Is there a rule or it's memory?
Memory. Everything on phrasal is memory. And there are many, to be honest with you. I don't know all of them because you don't need all of them. I think there are like hundreds, but you don't need all of them. You need like the most important ones because
Okay.
the other ones are like nobody uses, really. I saw a list that it was like 200 phrasal verbs, and 100 of those I've never seen in my life, to be honest. So, but the ones that are like most common here, here I have a link where I have like, and I'll send you these, the most common separable phrasal verbs. Okay, so here you have like the most common ones. Here's here's like a good amount of phrasal verbs. I would say that most of these are like really, really important. They're not like ones that you don't really use here. There are not as many. Okay. And let's do number 3. Okay, so in number 3, we have the object. When the object of a phrasal is a pronoun, it must go between the verb and the particle. Like this, why didn't you play in the first round of qualifying game? I set out the game because they had a sprinkled ankle. So when the object of a phrasal verb is a pronoun, it must go between the verb and the particle. Okay, so it would be like I sat it out, right? Not out it, sat out it. So here, I think that that's what they mean. Let's like this. The game was called off. We called it off. Like here, when the word like the object of the phrasal like this is a pronoun, it's go between the verb and the particle. So the game was called off. That means that the game was canceled, and we call it off is the same, but here we're using a pronoun. That's why it goes in the middle. Okay, I don't know if you understand that part.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, let's move on then. Let's do this one.
Hi. Today we're going to look at superlative adjectives. It isn't the easiest grammar point, but it isn't the most difficult either. We use superlative adjectives a lot, so the best thing for us to do is to begin right now, okay?
Okay, let's please read number 1 and number 2.
We use superlative adjectives to compare three or more people or things. When we use superlative adjectives, we are saying that a person or thing has the most or the least of a certain quality compared to the other members of the group. The coach says, "You're the strongest player on the team, Nick. You're also the most dependable of all the players. You really are the best." And number two, there are several ways to form the superlative. For short adjectives, we use the plus adjective plus est. Brightest, hardest, smallest. Oh, the brightest. Sometimes when we add est, there are spelling changes. And the nicest, the biggest, and the craziest.
Okay, so here you have like in these superlative adjectives, it's like to describe which is the upper or lower limit of a quality, like the tallest, the smallest, the fastest, the highest. Okay, so it's used when a subject in sentences when the subject is compared to a group of subjects. Okay, like I'm gonna give some examples here. So my house is the largest one in our neighborhood. So that means that my house is larger than anybody else's. This is the smallest box I've ever seen. Same. You've done ran fastest of any dog in the race. That means that he was faster than anybody else. And we threw our rocks at the same time. My rock flew the highest. That means that I threw the rock higher than anybody else. Okay. So that's something that we use. To form, there are several ways. Uh, we could say like the plus the adjective plus est, like the brightest, the hardest. Okay, so here it would be like brightest, hardest, or the smallest. Okay, and sometime there are there are some spelling changes like here. Nicest. Then you have biggest. And racist. Okay, so here the craziest, the biggest, and the nicest have some spelling changes. What are the spelling changes? In terms of the nicest, you don't need EST, only ST. The biggest, you need to double down the J's here. The craziest, you change this for an IEST. The ending would be changed to an IEST. Okay, so that's what they mean here. I don't know if you have any questions here.
It's okay, teacher.
Okay, let's move on then. Okay, let's read this.
A few adjectives have irregular superlative forms. Good is the best, and bad is the worst. Number 4, for long adjectives, we usually form the superlative with the most. Dean says, you're the most popular player on the team. We can also make a superlative with the least, the opposite of the most. The coach says, Carl is the least dependable player on the team.
Yes, so basically, good would be best and bad would be worst. Okay, so let's read this also, please, from here.
One syllable adjectives add ER for the comparative and EST for the superlative. If the adjective has a consonant plus a single vowel plus a consonant spelling, the final consonant must be doubled before adding the ending. Tall, taller, tallest, fat, fatter, fattest, big, bigger, biggest, sad, sadder, saddest. Two syllables. Adjectives with two syllables can form the comparative either by adding er or by preceding the adjective with more. These adjectives form the superlative either by adding est or by preceding the adjective with most. In many cases, both forms are used, although one usage will be more common than the other. If you're not sure whether a two-syllable adjective can take a comparative or superlative ending, play it safe and use more and most instead. For adjectives ending in y, change the y to an I before adding the ending. Happy, happier, happiest. Simple, simpler, simplest. Busy, busier, busiest. Tilted, more tilted, most tilted. Tangled, more tangled, most tangled. Three or more syllables. Adjectives with three or more syllables form the comparative by putting more in front of the adjective, and the superlative by putting most in front. Important, more important, most important. Expensive, more expensive, most expensive. Irregular comparatives and superlatives. These very common adjectives have completely irregular comparative and superlative forms. Good, better, best. Bad, worse, worst. Little, less, least. Much, more, must. Far, further, farther. And farthest, farthest.
Great. Okay, so that was a little explanation. I'm gonna send you that link also. But as you can see, there are some irregular ones. And well, uh, and it was all of this. Any questions here?
Mm, when you go to the web, in the outside, in the second rule, I think, the
Okay.
two syllables, uh, it says if you are not sure where a two-syllable adjective can take, use more and most.
Here, yes.
So I can say mm, more happy, for example, or not.
Mm. And that wouldn't be ideal. Of course, they're trying to say like if you don't know, you should like if you said more happy, that's if you wanna be understood. I don't know if you fly to the US and wanna be understood. That is a mistake. But in the TOEFL, you should use the one that you must use.
Okay.
So I think hold on. Let me see. I think there's some okay. Okay, I'm gonna see.
Well, but that will be if I really don't know which one to use.
Really, if you really don't, yes. As I said in the TOEFL, you need to know. That's the
Mhm.
problem. That's the
Okay.
problem in the TOEFL. But I hear it here, I think. Okay. Okay, so here I have some I'm trying to find where is like the rules. Okay, here we have it. Okay, so here it says, everything here. Okay, can you please read here from one?
Uh, when to use most with superlative adjectives. One key to knowing how to use superlative adjectives is understanding when to use the suffix est and when to use the adverb most. In general, short adjectives use est and long ones use most, but the details get a little more precise. Specifically, use the word most for all adjectives with three or more syllables, or adjectives with two syllables except those that end in er, o, le, or y. Okay. Typically, if an adjective has two or more syllables, it uses most. However, the exceptions to this rule are two syllables adjectives with the endings er, o, le, or y. If a two-syllable adjective has one of those endings, it requires special spelling rules with the st, explained below. While we are on the subject, you can also use list in place of most to show the thing at the bottom of a group. You can use list in front of any adjective without changing the spelling, no matter how many syllables it has. Mhm.
Three. Okay.
Okay, 5 spelling rules. One syllable adjectives. If an adjective has only one syllable, most of the time you can simply add the suffix est to the end of the word without changing the spelling. Cool, coolest, small, smallest. Be careful with one-syllable adjectives that end in e or a consonant vowel consonant. They have slightly different spelling requirements. And number 2, one-syllable adjectives ending in e. You don't need to add another e if a one-syllable adjective already ends in e. Just add est to the end. Cute, cutest, free, freest. One-syllable adjectives ending in consonant vowel consonant. If the last 3 letters of a one-syllable adjective follow a consonant vowel consonant format like big or thing, you have to double the last consonant and then add est. Big, biggest, thing, thinnest. One or two syllable adjectives ending in y. Adjectives with either one or two syllables have special spelling rules if they end in y. To make the superlative, first change the y into an I and then add est. Dry, driest, likely, likeliest. And two-syllable adjectives ending in er, o, or le. Two-syllable adjectives that end in er, o, or le don't use the adverb most like other long superlative adjectives. Instead, if an adjective with two syllables ends in er, like bitter, or o like narrow, and add est at the end without changing the spelling, bitterest or narrowest. Two-syllable adjectives that end in le just take st. You don't need a second e. Clever, cleverest. Shallow, shallowest. Simple, simplest.
Okay, that's it. So this is uh let's continue here.
Okay, like other word classes, some adjectives are irregular and don't follow the regular rules. Take a look at these irregular superlative adjectives so you know their proper usage. Good, best, bad, worst, far, farthest or furthest, fan, funnest or more fun, handsome, handsomest, many, most, polite, politest, quiet, quietest, stupid, the stupidest.
Okay, and here.
And to clear up the debate about funnest and most fun, both are actually acceptable in English. However, most modern English speakers prefer most fun over funnest. The constructions of farthest and furthest are a little more complicated. If you're having trouble, refer to our guide on farther versus further. Even though the article discusses the comparative form, the same ideas apply to a superlative form. Mhm.
Okay, so anyway, I think that that was more like uh
Specific.
more specific, yes. So I don't know if you've got any questions.
No, I think it's okay.
Okay, great. So let's move on. So that was superlative adjectives. Let's move on to okay, so we basically finished with everything regarding the module. I think we finished. Okay, so here in this case, okay, let's do some pronunciation here. Okay, let's see here. Okay.
Listen to these words from the dialogue. They all begin with a consonant cluster, a group of two or more consonant sounds, such as dr in dream. Listen for the consonant clusters at the beginning of these words.
Dream,
Frankly. Prove.
plotting,
Bribe.
clear, scheme,
Star.
smart,
Strongest.
Okay, so let's repeat, please, all of them.
Okay. Dream, frankly, prove, plotting, bribe, clear, scheme, star, smart, strongest.
Great. Okay. So let's do the next one.
Listen to these lines from the dialogue. The speaker uses a sharp rising intonation to show surprise or disbelief. The surprise questions are shown in blue. Listen for the sharp rising intonation.
Dean? Dean Bishop? And they made it look like a bribe? For sitting out the qualifying game? But Dean and his sister?
really?
Okay, yes. So here's to show surprise. Can you repeat, please?
Mhm. Dean Bishop, and they made it look like a bribe for sitting out the qualifying game. But Dean and his sister, really?
Great. So let's move on. Let's do the reading part here.
That kind of intonation is important for the TOEFL.
Uh, yes, but you have good intonation. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I've never focused on intonation, to be honest with you. And I think this is more for Chinese people. You know that Chinese people have different intonations when they speak. Like it goes down, it goes up. When you speak Chinese, I know a little bit about Chinese. So they like go down and go up, and they have four intonations. So
Oh yes,
they have
the
they have
vowels. Yeah.
they have really they have big difficulties. But for Spanish speakers, I guess it's the same, right? In Spanish, it's the same. When you ask a question, it's like you elevate at the end. So it's pretty
Yeah.
obvious for us. For Chinese, not so much. Okay,
Okay.
so that's for them basically. Let's no, this one. Okay, can you please repeat here?
Okay. How to tell who's telling the truth? How can you tell if someone is lying or telling the truth? One way is to pay close attention to a person's body language. Body language can give you clues about how honest someone is. Take this following situation, for example. Mrs. Green manages a music store. She suspects that one of the employees, Joe, has been stealing CDs. She calls Joe into her office and tells him her concerns. As Mrs. Green speaks, Joe folds his arms across his chest and his face redens slightly. Before she's finished speaking, Joe interrupts angrily. He rubs his nose, brings his lips together tightly, and says, "That's ridiculous. Why would anyone be so stupid? He'd have to be crazy too." Then he stops abruptly, rubs his nose again, and leans forward in his chair. He smiles at Mrs. Green and says, "Honestly, I'd never do anything like that." He laughs. "You trust me, don't you?" "Would you leave Joe?" Mrs. Green didn't. Here's why. Crossed arms. When Joe crossed his arms, he signaled that he was protecting himself. Red face and itchy nose. The fear of discovery often causes an increased blood flow. You can often see a slight reddening of the face and neck. The increased blood also causes the nose to itch. Tight lips. Liars usually tighten their lips or frequently lick their lips. They also tend to swallow or drink more. A change in posture. Liars often lean forward as they lie, hoping to create an impression of honesty. A prolonged smile or nervous laugh. Joe's smile and laugh are inappropriate and show he's trying to lighten up a serious situation.
Okay, so here are some pronunciation things. Because your pronunciation is good, but we're trying to improve your pronunciation to the best.
Mhm.
When you say honest, let's use the A more obviously. Okay, so how honest? It's not like in the middle. You said like honest, something like that. Let's use the A. How honest, like an A, honest. The same for office. It's not your office, it's your office, like with an A. Office, yes. Honest office. That's something that is gonna really set you apart from the rest. Because the rest of the people say honest office, right? If you say honest and office, like with that wide open mouth, that's gonna really set you apart. Okay, so that's something that I want to correct. And also, I think that there was some what word here. Let me see. Yes, I think that was it. Those two, I think we can improve. Okay, so
Teacher,
let's.
the pronunciation of truth
Oh
is
yes, that one. Truth, truth.
truth
Yes, truth,
with a D at at the end.
truth,
Truth,
truth is like with a th at the end, basically. Truth.
truth,
This is the truth. Yes,
truth. Okay,
not truth. It's truth.
truth,
Yes.
mm, truth. Okay, but I mean it's like a U or
It's like okay, let's listen to this.
yeah, but
Truth, truth,
Truth, right?
truth,
truth,
It's like a U, yes. Truth.
truth with a TH at the end.
With a th. Yes.
Okay, truth,
truth.
Yes,
truth,
truth. That's
truth.
right.
Okay, what does it mean? Redens slightly. Okay.
Where is that?
Um, redens. Here.
Oh, reddens. So that means that it's like it becomes red.
Ah, okay, okay. Redens
Reddens.
slightly.
Reddens that means that it becomes red.
Redden.
Redden, yes.
Redden, redden. Okay. What else? Mm, mm, uh, this lighting up. What does it mean? Lighting up. It's like a
Uh
cover or something.
like it's like they're trying to relax or to basically pretend that everything is it's like to become more relaxed or less serious. If I said you lighten up, that means like I'm saying relax. If I said Nadia, lighten up, that means Nadia, relax. Don't be so like I don't know, so angry. Let's say, lighten up. So
Okay. Okay.
to
Mm,
relax the situation. Yes.
mm, that was all.
Okay. So Martinez arms are crossed and her face is red. Probably lying or probably telling the truth.
Um,
According to the lecture.
teacher, are you talking?
Yes, yes. This one. Martinez arms are crossed and her
Okay.
face is red. Probably lying or probably telling the truth.
She's probably lying.
Okay, Ben's face is pale and he's sitting back in his chair.
Um, can he say, pale? Well, probably telling us. Bruce.
Okay, Todd is laughing in a relaxed way, and his arms are straight down beside his body.
Mm, probably telling the truth.
Alicia lips are tight, and she's rubbing her nose.
Mm, she's probably lying, I guess.
Han is licking his lips and swallowing a lot.
He's probably lying. Pronunciation is swallowing.
Swallowing, yes, swallowing,
Swall-
swallowing, yes.
Swallowing.
Okay, let's submit this. Yes, great. Okay, so let's finish here, Nadia. I'm gonna see you on Sunday. Let's do this quick poll, and then we're gonna do these 20 minutes that we couldn't do today because of the internet. On
Those 20 minutes are on Wednesday, right?
Wednesday. Yes, on Wednesday.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's fill up the poll, and I'm gonna see you on Sunday morning. We're gonna have 2 hours. Okay, thank you very much, Nadia. Let's yes.
On Wednesday it can be an hour and 20 minutes, and on
Yes.
Sunday just 1 hour.
And Sunday 2 hours, right?
Because I think in the schedule on Wednesday we don't have class. I mean, it's like it discounts a day, I think, in the schedule.
Yes, like it's a holiday, yes.
So
So
maybe
you wanna have like 1 hour on Sunday and 1 hour and 20 minutes on Wednesday? That's what you're saying?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, no problem with me. I thought we were like trying not to move one day, but if you wanna do that, no problem. So
Okay,
let's do 1 hour on
yeah.
Sunday and 1 hour and 20 minutes on Wednesday, no problem.
Yeah, that's better. Yes.
Okay,